class with Ron and Janet and Marie. And I hope everybody's had their supper and have settled in for the evening. It's a beautiful evening after a little bit of a thunderstorm and a little bit of rain went over. So I hope everybody's settled in, and I'm looking forward to this class. It's a topic that's close to Bagida'waad's heart, talking about climate change and hearing a lot about migration. As of recently, we were down at the big canoe at the shore at the Cape Coca Park, and there was a flock of geese that went over that were just starting to form a triangle. Not too sure where they were going, because they weren't going south, but maybe they were just going off to bed. But anyway, it's that time of year again, and kids are getting ready to go back to school. And the migration of the critters are on it. It's already happening. So over to you, Ron, and I hope everybody enjoys their evening. And thank you, Miigwech.
Bonjour. Obrigado. Meu nome é Pedro, Paulo Gomes Pompe, em Dayan. Mascot magazine, the Congo, Macondoro, we saw which was getting and put on the cutting with Nango, keep together, but can't go together. Keep going with the Ninok Shicks enough, Nitkia. On Pier one, then more or say over if you want to stop on Pier.
Bonjour. Wasai Obadishnikas, mine Gandorem, Sagi and Donjaba. I was looking at the date already at the 30th, getting towards the end of another month. So we're still one more day. Damen Jesus, the cornman. Simdina, the 30th. Nijing Madosvik Nishtana Shanish, 2022. Nijgishgat Nungwa. Tuesday, second day of the week, and it's getting darker every day. It seems like earlier and earlier. Anyway, 8 p.m. So just want to say welcome, and we had a little bit of a break, so glad to be back.
We did the topic.
Oh, Marie.
Okay, Marie, topic.
Or introductions too.
Introduction, yeah.
Marie Vincent Shaka, so again, I guess our topic for this evening would be migration and weather, climate change, and worldwide migration of people, and the topic Anishinaabemowin tradition, ceremony, why they are important, or are they humor? Who needs a good joke?
We started going much talk to Beneshiak. Sean the King Winnishaw. On Pejinago, Pedshiak, what can open Pina Nigan King, Pujin. Minago, now. Seganak, blackbirds. What can okay, well. That was last week, Mina the Muggies book, Carolina Wrens, the Schnabba name, Kenzie, but they're starting all grouped together, ready to go. Oh, there's how do you pronounce it?
The best I can do. Namasig the Wishiak.
They got little red hens. Red hens. They got little red spot, copper spot colored on their heads. They're usually the first ones that you see right around March. We've been nothing. Manda, Anstang look me now. Montpio, Manda. I guess corn moon, I don't know what's wrong, always call them diamond moon, over September. Racing moon, giving me a time to harvest one, wild rice. We just show. Man, look, was going to much time we know the quality in fall time when birds start to migrate. And Natasha mentioned geese already starting to form. I noticed that too myself. They're all forming, getting ready. Monarchs. Miguana. So yeah. They're endangered species, monarchs. But when do you see the other one flying by? I try and not hit them when I see them on the highway, like when you're riding along. Let them make their journey so they can go make some more families down south, come back. But when the Keon book net a bit cook. Because then book me on the easy cook. September is coming around. It's tomorrow. The moon. They also call that the leaves turning colors. And I'll tell you what. The joy about the king. Man, people know my whitefish. This is the time that they're coming out too. Like September. Called that whitefish moon as well. Janet, on the topic of the weather.
Before we leave the birds,
Oh,
mine, we saw those flocks. They were like, I don't know whether they're blackbird birds or starlings, but there was just seemed like big long lines of them in the sky. They're flying pretty high, so they were traveling. Yeah. They were all collected. Yeah, there was a time when the crows, you could tell, but they don't leave anymore. They're around year round. But blackbirds, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen that much lately. This is the first time in a few years I've seen blackbirds gather like that. And then there was about 1,000 of them. No, get one of these little hummingbirds. They'll be leaving next week. They'll be going south. I usually mark September 15th is the last day you see them around here. Again, I think it's around about May 15 they come back in.
Around there.
Yeah, almost right to that day. This show, it's nice to watch this now. Let's see, just to go up. This year, get prepared. Stock up on your food. The winter's coming. Things like that.
And I thought that migration started later, like it's only August.
Earlier, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, to me, is a change. That's just me.
Yeah.
Seems unusual.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. We saw them blackbirds.
Yeah. When you look up in the sky all the time, it's better to look up in the sky because it's easier to smile instead of looking down. We're always looking towards the sky, watching what's going on. So. Oh, so the weather and climate change might have something to do with birds moving, the animals moving. Marie was telling me, your son, he saw a cougar, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my brother.
Oh, your brother.
Yeah,
Did you
he
want to
was-
mention that?
Oh, yeah. A couple of days ago, my brother was looking out the window. He said he's wondering why the dogs were kind of, I don't know, they're going really loud or something, but they weren't even going near whoever was coming around. So he went to the window and he said out of the tree the tree line there where he lives. He said that a great big black cougar came out of came out of it into their house and crossed over in their yard and went across the road into that I don't know if anybody's ever been behind where Sharon George lives. There's deep valleys in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, deep valleys and it's very hard to walk around there, but this animal, I guess, can really get around because it's really probably where he lives. I don't know, but anyway, he crossed over, and he was warning us about it. He said, told us that it was a cougar because it was really long. And he was really huge.
I think
That's
there's-
noteworthy.
Yeah. I heard about it before, like they had sightings, but nobody actually, had the proof. Like they didn't take any pictures or anything. They just, they mentioned it that they had seen this because they didn't know what it was. They didn't know what it was. And so it was like a big cat.
Probably couldn't believe what they were seeing.
Probably couldn't.
Yeah.
I know we have lynx, but they're smaller. They got a little tail on them. But this cougar, it's got a great big long black tail. Yeah, I've heard about them before, like not, maybe 30, 40 years ago. It was only the one though, I think. But I think they're starting to move into the area. I think. I don't know. I'm not sure. But that cat was really huge, I guess. So it's probably had a lot of food too, from the these I don't know. It's not very large population yet. But I think they're starting to move into the area. I think it's called the Eastern Cougar.
Mhm.
National cause it now. Or gosh, yes. Or cause. What would you call a cougar in our language?
I think I'd have to. look that-
Chicago.
What is
Chicago.
Chicago?
Mhm. There's no problem name. There's probably a name.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Just me, big cat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You go look what the-
I remember maybe 40 years ago, we were in our graveyard in this village, and we were sitting around there and we were talking. And I think it was a Sunday afternoon, and we heard the sound from below the hill there, and it sounded, how that MGM they got this thing that I think it's a lion that has that kind of sound. That's what what we heard there was that because we just looked at each other. What was that? Like a roar. Yeah, it was a roar, like a cat, big large cat sound. Yeah, that was about 40 years ago then. And I heard the MNR said that something was killing the cattle at one time too. Wasn't it sometimes I remember reading about it. Wondering what was killing or eating the beef, the cattle. I don't know. Because they've seen the hide laying around
Mhm.
in the field. Anyway, that's my brother just warning us about what he's seen.
Mhm. Weather and climate change. I often think even on an individual basis, how we can do something to help do our part, reduce CO2, all the atmosphere that the air that we breathe. So there were some suggestions when I was reading up You can eat one meal less of beef per week. No, we have to think about that because we usually like to eat a full supper.
Yeah, it's a lot of meat.
Yeah. But that's one way. Eat bugs. Dried bugs.
Mm.
Could you, would you? I'm thinking, some people do. And it seems so unusual. But they're supposed to be high in protein. Supposed to be good. So I might try it. Would you?
Myself, I think I probably have to close my and think of something else. I mix it up with something else, you know.
Yeah, more fish for sure. Natural. Mm-hmm. More Kegel. Plant trees. Fruit trees, evergreens, all kinds of trees. You know, the ash trees that had been getting devastated by all those, what is it, a green ash borer?
Mhm,
Now, those are actually starting to come back too,
mhm.
naturally. So I guess that they weren't doomed.
You could all mock it on, ik tycker att det går så ik tycker nog att det bästa så was about 25 feet apart because I saw the book. We magic book, the kitchen did a lot. Special bra, the king, and she all can king, not sure when the king can finish the book. That's what I noticed when the young people, when they plant trees, they plant them within 5 or 6 feet apart. Not knowing these trees may grow up to about 20, 30 feet, and they need that room. So I say like about 25 feet apart. And if you're gonna plant that tree, make sure you mark that north side. So whenever you go plant, wherever you go, make sure that tree, that north is facing north, and it'll grow. But if you switch it around the other way, it'll die. And if we go towards the east or the west, the same thing, it'll die halfway. And don't for the south, it'll die. Couldn't walk. You gotta watch how you plant those.
What about those little wee ones? M&R has those little wee, I don't know, pine trees, cedar trees. They used to, I think if you applied for a grant, you could get a whole bunch. No, they wouldn't have that same thing that you have to plant north facing north, because how could you tell when they're all bundled together?
They'll have markings on them.
Mm,
No matter which, how you look at them, there's always a mark on the north side of them trees. Yeah.
That could be the reason why my corn didn't do so good.
Used to put in the new one, not new, 4 or 5. Put them in there. And then you hold nursery 2 feet over. Same thing. Then they go high. They race. I'll typically magic book.
Mm,
I don't know, daring each other, I guess, who grows faster. How many years does that plant have?
2, isn't it? 2 at least,
2 to 3.
2 to 3. Hulls of corn, ears of corn.
Okay. You were talking about waste food.
Food waste, yeah. Even like for the two of us. When I think about food waste and how much we waste without even, you know, cooking a whole bunch. The more you think about how we can save rather than throwing it in the garbage.
You're saying they're gonna eliminate that best before date too?
Yeah, yeah.
People don't eat it if if that went past that due, right? That, best before date,
Mhm.
they throw it out. But now they're saying that, sometimes it's not good to do that as long as it's, kept, in the freezer, whatever. My daughter, she puts all her waste in a, like a
Little compost.
compost pail, yeah.
Yeah.
She puts all that stuff in there. And she said then she puts it in the garden. She said that soil is so dark now, black. It just everything just grows good on there. She's done that for years, that like the food waste.
Mhm. Yeah, it's really obvious. A good example right here in the reserve is our dump. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. And we could be doing so much better.
Yes. Now they're gonna be trucking it out, I heard, so they're hiring a company to come in and get their garbage. And they're gonna use bag tags or something. And you're only gonna be allowed a certain amount of garbage. They're gonna recycle, I guess they're gonna try and recycle. Or maybe that company will do the recycling too, I don't know. I'm not sure how they're gonna do it. But I heard they're gonna chuck it out of the community, and if we have more, you know. Garbage, we're gonna have to pay. To have it, yeah, I don't know how much it's gonna cost.
We want to try to reduce, the
Yeah.
waste.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing.
It is a good thing, yeah. But in recycling, I don't know, because even there's only certain things that you can recycle. It has to have something like a middle. On the can or whatever that can be recycled, and most of them don't have that. They don't have a little code, eh? So I know a person that worked at the recycling in Southampton, they said sometimes there's a lot, it's not, they can't recycle. Because that code is not on there. So I don't know what they do with it, because if people think that can be recycled. I don't know.
It's funny how that, yeah, you should mention that. When you go by from the store, you see that sticker recyclable.
Yeah,
And when these people say, okay, we want that clean garbage when it goes out, now we remove all stickers.
mhm,
Now they turn around and say, no, we can't accept that because there's no sticker on
yeah. Exactly.
it. And then another matter, I heard, Salvador Boyle, the bears are roaming to the towns and all that. Notice a lot of people make their own gardens. And this month, right now, actually, Tecogleman Moon. That's blackberry, thimbleberries are out. That's their favorite food. So wherever they grow lots, that's where you'll find the bears. If you got them growing in your garden, be sure that they'll be around. Always snow.
Mm.
I mean,
A person that used to work at the national park, they had a call out to go and see if they could, because this bear was getting very, going into their cottagers and summer visitors, and they're causing a lot of fear among the children, I guess. And so they got the MNR to come out, take the bear down, I guess. because it was getting kind of violent too, I guess, this bear. So they were wondering what was wrong with it because bears don't usually behave that way. So they said they had done an autopsy on that bear, and here that bear was suffering from all the sugar it was eating from the garbage. And the sugar was affecting their teeth. And they're not usually meat eaters, say bears, or I guess they're kind of vegetarian. But now they're getting into the meat thing. Like, yeah. So I guess their whole food intake is all, not what it called it, or how they're supposed to eat. And I guess they get their forage dump because people throw things away, and then that's why they go there. No, it's just things that can decompose naturally. I don't think we'd have any bear problem going to the dump, but is that something? I don't know. I guess we can't. It's not gone beyond. So
Well, there's getting to be more and more bears
yeah.
sightings. They're around here because they've been into the garbage too, knocking over bins.
People say, "What we record, we can't do that on phone." The fishes, rings,
Yep.
Stepneys, walking down the road.
They say they usually see them just out here along that creek.
Mhm.
I'm glad I haven't seen them. I mean, I like bears, but not close.
Are they territorial here? I don't know.
I don't really think so.
Not
No, they just roam, eh?
Yeah. And you can't eat bears. That's your dodo.
The mucko was about 3 feet away behind her, the services, So I looked over, I thought that was Clint fooling around, going like this. Right behind Janet, so when I looked at that's not, couldn't be Clint, he was small, so I went between Janet and Teresa. We go, and so I thought, there's a bear behind you. Yeah, that's what they were saying, because I'm always teasing them. Didn't believe me until we got up and spotted the bear. Didn't harm us though.
No,
I think
not
they're
at all.
Yeah, I think they're actually more afraid of us than than we are of them. Well, we're very, very afraid of them. As I remember quite a while ago, and that's when Walter Shopdays was used to be very community minded, Walter? So I guess there's a little cub roaming around. And he stopped this guy that was announcing, one of his loudspeakers on his car. He was announcing a bingo or something that was happening in Southampton. Anyway, he stopped that guy, got in there. He said, "Oh, look, you know, here. You want?" And he was looking around and saying, "Who's speaking the language?" And saying something about a bear. Here's Walter, trying to warn us about. Because we hardly seen them, We hardly seen a bear because they'd run off. And say, we could smell them before we seen them. Yeah, kind of have a stench.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, remember that. Walter saying that.
Did you know at the Restore store in Owen Sound, they have a place there where you can take your old electrical stuff? Yeah, I didn't know that. So rather than throwing things out, it would make more sense to make a trip, throw them where they'll make some use of them. I don't know whether they repair them.
My toasters never burn up, it's just a lot of oil, it's gonna fish on Or they do hook it back in and.
Hmm. And phones, they're just throwaway too, eh? A lot of them. Electrical.
Even our glasses, eh? They're, the Rotary Club collects them. They send them to the third world countries, you know.
They used to have them, a little box at the post office.
Yeah.
Where you could put them in there.
Mhm. I think they still do that. I'm
Yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
You see all the televisions and all kinds of things at the dump. Right?
Yeah. I guess they've been trying to sort it, eh?
Yeah, they've got a bin there, I
Yeah.
see.
Their big truck, I guess, sometimes comes along and picks it up, eh, and crushes it or whatever. Yeah. What, you know, where you take your car and get it, you know, recycled. I guess that's what they do to that furniture.
I'm thinking about electric cars. I know the one I'm driving right now is in bad need of an oil change. So if there ever comes a time when I can get another vehicle, I would get an electric car. It's supposed to be good for the environment. I don't know too much about it. But I know I think it's September 1st, there is a workshop, an information session about electric cars. Victoria,
Yeah,
do you have more information about that presentation that's going to take place? It's supposed to be in Saugeen at the youth center and at Modoki Center in Cape.
yeah, I do. You know, although Natasha, did you want to say something to this, or do you want me to? So, it's our friend Dylan White is organizing it. He received some funding to talk about zero emissions vehicles, which mainly includes electric ones. So
Okay.
it's just going to be a bit of a presentation and some food and chatting, and hopefully we'll have an electric car there that people can see. So there's going to be one on Thursday, starting like from around 6 to 8, and then that's in Saugeen at the youth center, and then on Friday at the Modoki Center. So at Anishinaabemowin. So we're covering the youth to the elders, all in both locations.
Mhm.
But anyone's welcome, and there will be food, free food.
Okay, that sounds good.
So I'll be going to the one on Thursday at Saugeen. So hopefully we can see anyone there. But it should be fun. And Dylan's wonderful. He just went. He's one of our trainers for teaching Chris and Mingan about species and being on the land, and
Mhm.
being able to identify things. And so he's been a guide all over the world. He's done a lot of work with hunters up north. We got a report once from him where he told us how many muskox he had seen that day. But he's done tours just all over the world. He's a really, really nice fellow that everybody would like. So if anybody's available on Thursday around 6 to come down to the youth center, they'd be welcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that in. Yeah.
What happens if we ran out of power on 401? On the rush hour.
There are a lot of charging stations all over the place these days. Even when I was in Prince Edward Island, most of the major stores, like supermarkets, they have a charging station out in front, and like they're kind of all over to be able to find them. And usually they have an app that shows where you can find them. So there's an app for that.
So you shouldn't get stuck then, eh? Yeah.
Well, we got one at the gas bar.
Yeah.
There's one in town, so that's the main street.
Yep, and there's a few in Port Elgin too. And there's a lot more of them up on the peninsula now. They installed a lot of them last year. So there's quite a few at different places in Lions Head and Tobermory.
So, they run on battery, you say? And is the car heavier? Do you know?
Anytime I've been in them, they just feel like a normal car. I've
Okay.
been in Teslas and I've also been in ones that are like Chevy Volts, the little ones.
Uh-huh.
And they're kind of pretty normal. Teslas can go pick up their speed a lot faster than other electric cars. So it's like being in a race car. If they put they put it down and you know the gas pedal goes down, you go very, very fast. So it's rather fun. The Teslas are they're the longest distance ones too, because they can go, I think, 300 kilometers before you need to charge up. Yeah, so you can go a lot further distances before, and it's usually around the time when you'd want to be able to stop anyway, like stretch your legs. And
Mhm.
they have fast chargers, so it's becoming a lot easier kind of thing. But yeah, if anybody wants to come, we'll be having a fun
How's
little
it
party
cost?
down there.
Is it costly though, to go on I don't want to say fuel up, but you have to use another term, I guess, for that. Get your power, I guess. Is it expensive, Victoria?
No, it's just the cost of electricity. So quite often I have some friends that post up their the cost for their electric cars.
Mhm.
And quite often it's like $15 for them to fill up.
Oh,
that's
what a
pretty good.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it depending on where, and I know somebody too. I have a friend that got a Tesla because he had a lot of solar panels on his house, and he does it where it feeds into the grid, and so it lessens the cost of your bill because of how much you produce, so you don't pay for what you're making. And he was making more electricity from his solar panels than he was using. So he bought an electric car to use up the extra electricity that was being made by his solar panels. So now his car is basically free whenever he's driving anywhere close to home, because his solar panels are producing so much electricity that it just pays for his car too.
Wow. Hey, in a cold climate, like we don't have garages like here, so you just plug them in to keep the battery alive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are special chargers for a house, but they're just big plugs, almost like you see for like a back of an appliance. They're more
Yeah.
like that because they're for dealing with a huge amount of electricity at once.
Okay, pretty interesting.
Mhm. What about snow and electrical?
Snow. I imagine they drive just as well.
No, what I mean is when you plug it in. If it's what? Yes, I'm sure they thought about something about that thing.
Well, they would have, what do they call those, like a cover on it, I would imagine, to keep the snow and
Yeah.
stuff off of it, or even the rain, the ice.
Mhm.
I've heard that they start pretty well in our weather. That's
Okay.
kind of, I've heard that they're okay in our weather. It's harder, I think, when it's really super cold, like in Winnipeg in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they do for normal cars, you have to have heaters for them to start in a place like Winnipeg. So I think you just have a similar kind of thing for an electric car when it's really cold.
Yeah, just in case.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our daughter, Audra, she got an e-bike. Colin, did he get one too?
I don't-
Yeah, I know they have one, so I'm gonna try it out. Maybe, hopefully I don't crash on it, if she'll let me. Yeah. E-bikes, I see a lot of them around. So, was there any more thoughts about how we could influence a little bit of this climate
clothing too, it can be, recycled.
Oh, instead of buying all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Recycle, yeah.
Mhm.
Recycled clothing and even our, our shoes.
Yeah, everything.
And they used to have what they call, if your shoes needed repair.
Oh, yeah, a cobbler.
Cobbler,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And those shoes, hi there's.
Hello there.
Yeah, I noticed that people, we never actually threw anything away, eh? They'd always repair it,
Mhm.
so it'd have a longer life. And I guess we become like a throwaway society,
Yeah,
where we
true.
throw
eh?
everything away, out of sight, out of mind, I guess, but it is, it goes into the ground.
One time there, I ordered some shirts. So I had a meeting in Toronto. So I put these shirts on, remember the ones? And then, I was down, probably down towards the other side of Markdale. Started to smell something, smelled fishing. They started looking around the truck, looking around, nothing. Couldn't figure it out, and then it got stronger as temperature warmed up. And I took my t-shirt and smelled, wow.
It's me.
Here it was the t-shirts I bought were they were made out of fish skin.
Oh, yeah, I
And
heard about that.
they came from China.
Mm.
They were nice looking shirts.
Oh, Magadonda.
So I took them back to where I bought them. I think there's something wrong with your shirts. I said,
Mm.
so said, no, there's nothing wrong with them. Well, you wear them for a day and then you let me know. Then she just went in the interim, started smelling this fish thing.
Mm.
And then that's when I found out that they're my fish skin shirts.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nothing against changes or anything like that, but they just need to be looked at more.
Mm.
Then when I was in that meeting in Toronto, I was walking around, some guys were looking at a little strange at me, eh? There's something wrong with there. You started looking around. It was that shirt thing. I took a bunch of them down. I was giving them away too. Eh? Anyway, that's that one. Okay.
So then, thinking of people and globally, how people are moving, eh?
Mhm.
Yeah. Some of the places they're forced to because it's either flooding or drought or war.
A lot of this
Yeah.
global warming.
Everybody's looking for a better place, a safer place, security.
Greenland, melting. Gonna raise the water by 10 inches, they say.
Mm-hmm.
Montana Beach.
Yeah.
And I think we have to be very careful of water too, eh? Because they say, I was listening to some farming people, and they were talking about Colorado River. They said that dried up completely. And there's no more water there. It's just dried up.
Mm.
And they said in Texas, they had a flood. It's not mentioned in the news because I guess they don't want to scare people. I don't know why they don't mention it, but they said even it was lifting up the people that had passed years and years ago, and then maybe 20, but they have it went through their, when they say that's the best thing, they're still going through the process.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that all these people that have passed are out littered all over the place. That's what these farmers were saying. And they were talking about the same, this global warming.
Well, some of the rivers, like still speaking of the states,
Mhm.
where the riverbed was so dry and then it exposed these old dinosaur tracks.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So when everything changes like that, the unknown world starts to show.
Yeah.
Even, was it China where there was another river or lake that dried? But they had statues in there. It was just like a little
Yes.
temple type of thing, perfectly preserved.
Yeah.
But now that it's exposed, I suppose it'll all disintegrate too. Yeah.
Somebody mentioned one time to an archaeologist that when they were clearing the nuclear plant, Douglas Point, they said they went in there to underbrush. Some of the people here went there. They were hired to do some underbrushing. And he said that then they brought this great big grader, eh? Really huge, and it scraped all that all the roots of the trees and everything, the underbrushing that they had done, and just pushed it aside. And he said that I never seen anything like that. He said, so he went down there and he looked at the ground. He said, and then because they went right to the rock,
Oh,
clear
yeah.
rock,
Yeah.
and he said, you see footprints there, and a man, must have been a man, I don't know who it was, all, but was leading a horse because he could see horse tracks too. Oh, he says, the archaeologist says, that's odd. There's no horses in this country, but there was.
Mhm.
There was.
All these things.
Yeah,
they're
all these
showing
things
up.
surfaced there.
Yeah.
Remember late Counselor Arnold used to talk about something like that, being a ground, it would work itself up. Yeah, he used to mention that.
Mm.
There's nothing is can't, lose it because it'll bubble up, he said.
So think about migration and us, we're part of this land, we call it home. How important is our way of being? Our language, our tradition, our ceremonies. Why they are important, or are they?
Yes, they are. John, they don't know.
Mhm.
Op de kunt cement dan van vier man kunnen te welkomen. Hoe de magic dit. We zijn going ja, hoe magic krijg. Die kwetsjes, hoe de magic wordt ja. Misschien nog hoe magic wordt. Hoe we dat niet als wat. Ben ik te gaan. Dan nog. Dan wordt het tegenover. Kijk, die kwetsjes.
Betches.
Yeah.
Eu mon père, mon division, just yeah. You wish for that shelter that they gave me in a hot day. That's the leaves. Gotta give thanks for the shade and the things that they do. The birds that sing. Gotta give thanks for them. So yes.
So that's in the language, in our way of being. So our language has to remain, it has to be taught, it has to be kept. It's like our own survival. When we talk about climate change, you're talking survival, right?
Yeah, when you talk about that new migration, we should have a connection that receiving pressure, chilling, that in doubt. You feel we net quality to go home for yourself where the deers and moose and all them were. We should we never go, they go towards their big shelter, so we moved with the seasons as well.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
During the Ice Age, our people talk about in their stories about the Great Migration to the south, because it was all, how thick the glacier was. Even New York City, it's where New York City is now. Those miles of ice piled up from the ice, during the, I guess they had a global warming then or whatever. Ice Age, yeah. So they moved south and over there. And they practiced that ceremony of the white dog. ceremony.
Mhm.
And so they shared that ceremony, and that's, they brought it when the glacier receded. So that there's some of the ceremonies that they had, shared with the people there. So that's what I heard about the white dog ceremony, because they practiced that there too in Mexico and further south down to South America.
Collingwood? That area, Collingwood? Hayford?
Collingwood,
Okay.
the Blue Mountains.
The white dog ceremony.
The white dog is even here, was here at those, the major, when we used to come. And the stopper and the Dr. Fitzgerald just talked about the place where it took us, Meaford, way into where they had an orchard there. And he said, this is where the Schnabek forgot about where people, he said, and they'd have, and you could see it on the ground, he said that the evidence of the white dog ceremony.
It was those apple trees that preserved it.
Yeah, yeah. And over here too, they,
At the mouth of the river.
at the mouth of the river, yeah.
Mhm. Remember, we tried to protect that spot once.
Yes.
So, yes, it's important to know all these things.
Mhm.
It's not about being, what they say about them.
Mhm.
Find out the truth about them.
Mhm.
Don't listen to the things that other people in the windows, what they say about things. They're not true.
Mm.
They don't know everything there.
You gotta find out what's there, get to know it. That's part of it. Get to know it. That's why when we started this program, the Camden or the Virginia thing, Camden, thing,
Mhm.
Camden, or the thing, or the key. Get to know the surroundings.
Mhm.
Don't listen to the Facebook messages,
Mhm.
gossips.
Mhm.
We'll find out the truth. That's how things will become reality. Ceremonies, they're real.
Yeah.
I like Dr. Osmosis, his research on the water and how it kind of connects to all living beings, right? And he's proven it with science on how he talks about how powerful prayer is and how words can affect water, and we're 70% of water.
Mhm.
And his experiment, how he would talk nice to one glass of water and then awful to the next, to the same type of water from the same tap, or you talk awful to the other glass of water. And when he put them on a sheet and put it in the freezer, the one that was talked nice to made beautiful crystals, whereas the other one made, blobs, didn't make form crystals. And then you think about our children and how you speak to them or how you speak to one another. It we form those two types of crystals inside us, and we carry those crystals throughout our lives. So his theory was that's what happens to us when those things are said to us, or if words are spoken to us in such ways. But he even goes further, where he got monks to pray by this lake that was so polluted, and the results that came out of it, because when they took samples first time, it showed, you could not drink it. But when they put the monks along the sides to pray for that water, and they took water from that water was pure.
Mhm.
So it was just amazing on his research on how much we are fully connected. We think we're not, but we are, and everything that we do and what affects our environment. So if we go back to ceremony and prayer and live in that prayer, I think we could change everything. in regards to what's happening to the world today. As you can see today, you see a lot of mental health issues, right? And long time ago, we didn't have that many health issues, right? Mental health issues. But today you see a lot of it, and it makes you stop and think, okay, what's going on here? What are we not doing? And I think that's what it is ceremony. Ceremony is the biggest part of our connection to that spirit realm. Because that spirit realm, we're fully connected. It's just when we get stuck in our heads, right? Our heads sometimes disconnect us from everything else. Yeah.
Well, it's important to know these things and to talk about these things and understand these things and live by them things. You gotta walk that talk. And if you don't, it comes and bites you. And our bodies, we carry 90% of the water. It's only stands to reason that the water is spiritual in the ways that we need life. And
Well, proof of that is the woman, that beautiful woman, that water walker. Yeah, and she always comes to mind, how dedicated she was. Yeah.
I was just thinking about her when we were writing down the 21
Mm,
and we're visioning where we were walking that time.
yeah.
And she wouldn't let nobody carry the water. And then, well, I carried the evil stuff, but there had to be a woman that carried the water anyway. And then she was never tired. She just kept going. I mean, I have to run when keep up with her.
Kind of reminds me of my grandpa.
So that being said, like, you know, the water in itself, we have to look in that direction that she can't tell us that there's something wrong with that water. And sometimes you look at the people the way they are, and they're so argumentative, or either they're mad all the time. And then they basically there's something wrong somewhere in that food chain, because the food that we grow takes water as well. Everything that's out of that grows takes water.
That's why in ceremony too, you gotta be in a good mind, you gotta be in a loving place to prepare food for other people, right? Because you're putting that goodness in there. Yeah, so there's so much that we need to keep. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And
keep it alive.
We need to teach the young ones
Mhm.
instead of like, you know, computers, phones. Nobody takes time to walk in the bush or even to understand what's there.
Or they
What is this?
Or they question if you're walking in the bush or walking on the side of the road, and they slow down and they look at you wondering, oh, do you need help?
Anyway, we're getting to that time again.
Yeah, once again, just a little after 9, no. So, end this. Anybody got a good joke?
Yeah. I got
Clean
one.
jokes, no dirty jokes.
Very good.
Oh, I got one, yeah. I heard this years and years ago, though. I don't, maybe these guys heard it, maybe everybody heard it. I don't know. Anyway, it's about the Bagida'waad. I took us watching to the jewelry store. Somebody told him that the jeweler would fix this watch. So he told that, can you fix this watch? He told that jeweler. Well, he said, I'll try and see what's wrong with it. So he left it. Then a week later, he went back and he said, well, did you fix my watch? He says, the jeweler, yes, it's all in good order now. It's working. It's on time. He said, but, oh, he said, what was wrong with it? He said, then the jeweler pulls out a bug. Big bug with something. He said, oh, this bug was in your watch. Oh, he says that Anishinaabemowin, that's what happened. The engineer died. Jury put another bug in there.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, there's 4 participants, nobody out there to ask questions, I take it. I guess, you know,
Been pretty quiet.
Mhm. It's windy.
Cool down.
Yeah.
Cool down, yeah, yeah.
It's pretty hot, yes.
meal, eh?
Yeah, meal.
Oh, my goodness.
Mhm.
Monday.
So talking about migration, maybe we should all be migrating to bed or to a comfortable spot on the couch.
Oh, yes. Good idea.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate everybody's time tonight. And yes, looking forward to Thursday night. Hopefully we'll see some smiling faces and enjoy some good food and some good conversation. And I love talking about climate change and yeah, learning a lot about migration. I know we're going to be talking about like migration of bats even.
Even that.
Even migratory, yeah. So bats are on the move and yeah, so they'll have to leave my house. And yeah, so anyway, until next week, everybody, I hope everybody stays well and see you on Thursday
Comment
evening.
or something?
Mhm. No, just
I'm not too sure.
hope sense of mind.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, bomb up here. I'm off to
Okay.
do some dishes.